As you know, a lot of businesses struggled the past few years, but the housing market was insane. Low inventory and high demand had many properties selling way over asking price all across the country. That made front page news, but now that headline is being replaced. The market is correcting itself. Joining us to know what that really means if you're looking to buy or sell is Amy Bernstein with Bernstein Realty. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, this is, as we always say in this neck of the woods, not your first rodeo. In fact, you started with two agents back in what, 84, 85?
85, exactly.
And there was something happening at that time where people were like, you're nuts to go into this business right now.
I think people did think I was crazy because of the oil in Houston was not doing so great, and everybody's
the
like,
whole state,
what?
We had an oil bust.
What are you doing opening a real estate company? But there's always a market. So I have seen these ups and downs. This is probably my fourth up and down, or fourth now heading down from up.
Yeah, because we had 2008, which was crazy. We had the crash with because of home loans, ironically.
That's
right?
exactly right. So there's always a market. I mean, people always are buying and selling, and their needs are different at different times. But right now, it's just a more cautious market. Much more cautious.
And Houston still has some great advantages, as anyone from California or New York will tell you.
Yes. So Houston is still relatively affordable, and we have so many options, whether people are relocating into the city or they're moving out into the suburbs. Schools are always number one on most people's list, but commute time and affordability and pricing is also. And so there really is something for everybody in Houston.
Yeah, and you say something for everybody, including the rental market. That has changed a lot. We see a lot of, I moved here from Manhattan. We have many more high rises and mid rises here in Houston than we did before, and more of a luxury living.
Yes, as soon as you think, where do all these people, how can they build all these, and are they full? You'll go show in an apartment community and they'll say, we have 2 vacancies in this huge apartment community, and then they go build another one and they fill it up. So they keep coming to Houston.
Yeah, there's convenience with that. All right, many potential buyers were waiting it out before. They're waiting to see a correction in the market.
Yes.
And so they're hoping that prices will be really reasonable. So there may be some adjustments, but it's not like it's crashed.
It is not like it's crashed. So, leading up to 2023, or really the back end of 2022, it was a crazy market. I mean, you'd have to see it, buy it, and hardly be able to even inspect it or appraise it.
Yeah.
Today, it's a much more cautious market. You're not really in a multiple offer situation. You can take your time. You can make offers based on comparables, and it is just the urgency and the whole fear of losing houses is not there today.
With that said, someone just said to me the other day, she said, we were thinking about putting our house in the market, but we waited too long. She goes, I want to wait till the next big upswing. You don't know when that's going to come. And if you've been in your house a while, you still got to look at, you can get some equity out of it and things like that.
This is a correction. Yeah. This is not a downturn. This is a correction to an overly inflated, in my opinion, overly inflated market that could not sustain itself. It could not continue to go at that pace.
Yeah.
So now this is a correction. So this is not a down market, it's just a corrective market.
Okay, so what that means, if houses were way up, like people asking $50,000 over asking price, are they going way down right now or just somewhere in the middle?
I don't feel they're going way down at all. In fact, I think they're people that enter the market that think it is going way down, they're going to surprise themselves when they see that it is really just correcting, which is kind of what you're saying, in between the two.
Okay, so things to know if you're selling. One of the things you said, it might sit on the market a little bit longer. There might be challenges to when you say I'm selling as is.
Yes. So the thing is, today sellers have to be most focused on days on market, because if you'll recall, we came off of a market where if something was on the market
for an hour,
days, for an hour, you thought something was wrong with it.
Yeah.
Well, that mindset is still there for buyers because it takes a while for the shift mentally to happen.
Yeah.
So sellers have to price their homes right, because if it sits on the market, there will be a big disparity between what somebody's asking and what somebody will get.
Yeah.
But if it sells really quickly, then there's going to be a shorter gap in between list price and sales price.
With that said, about selling quickly or not, don't expect, as we mentioned earlier, that prices are going to be so low that people are going to be desperate.
No.
And so don't insult people with, you still got to come in with a good offer. You still got to come in pre-approved, always helps.
You always have to have a pre-approval letter. I'm glad you brought that up. So when you make an offer, you want the seller to know that you're serious, that you've talked to a lender, and that you can afford to do this. Yeah. But you should make a serious offer. It doesn't have to be asking price or greater like what we've come off of, but it has to be an offer that is indicative of the market today.
And in the market today, you may have a little bit of more negotiating room.
You absolutely do. You have negotiating room as far as from what the list price is. You have negotiation as far as things you could possibly ask the seller to correct during your option period when you get inspections, all of those side of things. And today you're seeing some sellers paying closing costs, and you're seeing sellers paying points for the buyer to bring the rate down a little bit so that the buyer doesn't have to pay a rate much higher than they were last year.
Yeah, all right. 2023, what types of things are we predicting?
Well, that's $1 million question, and you know, we get asked that all the time, but I think 2023 is just the year of the correction in my mind. So interest rates were very, very low, 2%, then they went up quite a bit, and now they're settling back down. So that is the year of the correction. Still very low interest rates. I mean, my first home was at 16 7/8.
Wow.
So this.
And what are we at right now about?
We're about 6 today, 5, 6. Yeah. So rates are still very low, and there are still investors that wanting to jump in and get into these low rates.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a year of just buyers analyzing comps and analyzing, am I paying a fair price for this house? I think you're going to see a little bit of trepidation in the market where buyers do think that things are going to go down lower, so they're kind of putting their big toe in and watching a little bit. But I think January and February will be 2 really good months to kind of see where and how people feel in 2023.
And so many things still apply. Do your homework before you even go out in the market to see what you can afford, what you'd like to comfortably afford. If you're selling a house, certain things still apply. Like if you got some major problems, look at, do I sell it as is, or do I fix those major problems and make your house look presentable?
And that's exactly right. And so I tell every buyer today, before entering into the market, even while they're in the market, get out and go to see houses with your agent. Get out and learn the market, because if the right one comes along, then you won't know it unless you've educated yourself to the market. So you may lose some opportunity if you don't get out and just say, what does my money take me to today? So I think it's important to shop, learn, so when the right one comes around, you can execute.
Yeah, okay, so during the break, she was saying, I really got to follow like Bill Bellamy.
Exactly. So Bill Bellamy has, I guess when people call him after midnight, it's a booty call.
Yeah, that's what he said.
In real estate, you never think of booty calls, right? If somebody calls you at midnight or 1 o'clock, yes, you want to make an offer on a house? It's no problem. We are here. It's never a booty call.
She answers the phone at 3 a.m. Okay, I'll write up the contract.
You can call me at 1 or 2 in the morning, and I will not think you are after a booty call. I think you're after a house.
No, yeah, it's a house call. All right. For more information on Amy Bernstein, Bernstein Realty, or a recap of the information discussed today, log on to greatdayhouston.com.
I wish it was maybe sometimes a booty
No,
call.
stop. Cut it off right there. Okay.